This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Vlad Arakcheyev. He's an active investor, co-sponsor, JV partner, over 500 plus units. He is the CEO of Zontic Ventures, operations and asset management. Extensive experience in sales, marketing, residential, commercial real estate. Today, we are diving into his path to multifamily syndication and how he became successful at raising money, working with investors. You're gonna hear what markets he's in and how just some of the key things that are so important when you're working with investors. Vlad, welcome to the show. Honored to have you on. And I mean, I'm looking forward to diving into some of your skill sets here because I know so many people listening are trying to do some of the same things and they're going to learn a lot from you today. But welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. It's very honored. Thank you.
Honored to have you with us. Well, let's dive in though. I know you're doing some big deals. You're working with lots of investors, and we're going to get to some of that. Vlad, how did you get to multifamily syndication? I mean, that's it's like a big scary term for most, right? It's like syndication, this thing. However, a lot of people are scared of it, right? And they don't go down that path, or they go down different real estate paths. I want to hear, how did you get there? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely scary because if you think about it, you're buying a business. In multifamily, you're buying a business for, let's say, $15 million. And the first question is, how can you possibly do this? How much money do you need to have? Well, first of all, these are the things that should be changed. Instead of you should be thinking as we. It's all about a team. And second, education is, in my opinion, is the best solution to this. Because I started my real estate journey, I wasn't in real estate at all. I was a graphic designer. And then I started to learn how to be a regular residential agent here in New Jersey, and I still am. I'm selling houses here. So, and then that took me to flipping, that took me to wholesaling. And the next step was, how can I grow? And I got a rental. But if you think about it, one rental, one person's just living there, right? And you have to manage it, and it's difficult. And at the same time, they're calling you. I was chasing raccoons off the roof. Really?
That sounds dangerous right there. I'm not sure I could get paid enough to do that.
Exactly. That's why I sold that house this year. I literally sold it 2 months ago at the beginning of February. So, because I couldn't handle it anymore. And the biggest thing is you have to stop being like a hamster in the wheel. Passive cash flow, that's what it's all about. So next step would be multifamily. And the biggest thing for me was education and credibility. So I started interviewing all the people that can help me take me to that next level. And I'm part of Jake and Gino. It's a multifamily community. There's a lot of them out there. And my suggestion is they cost a lot of money, but they're really worth it. So interview them, all of them, and see which one you connect with the most. So after joining Jake and Gino, I immediately started speaking with people in the markets where I wanted to buy multifamily. In my case, it's Texas, Kansas City, and the Carolinas. But I live in New Jersey, so how can I do that? By connecting with others and speaking with others and forming teams and relationships. So it took me approximately 6 to 8 months to find a team, or at least people that I click with. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it's faster, it just depends. But I'm really careful who I'm getting in business with, because if you think about it, if you're buying an apartment complex, you're with them for like 5 years. So you have to really get to know them. You have to really like them, because you're going to talk to them on a weekly basis for 5 years. So, and ultimately, you want everything, you want it to be successful. So that was my path. So now, after being in the space for a little bit, I've done few JV deals in the Carolinas. And I worked on 3 syndications so far in San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. We closed 10 days ago. Well, actually 15 days ago on the last one. It's 128 doors, great syndication and great project. I'm very excited to be a part of it. So yeah,
That's
that's my
awesome.
quick
Yeah,
journey.
I know Jake and Gino. I've known them for a number of years. I was the first person in the room in their very first conference in 2017, and I've gotten to know them, over a few years there. But just a great group. I just think a lot of those guys. But I completely agree. Mentorship is just. I just feel like it's a must in some form or fashion, right? You need to find somebody that's going to help you, you can ask questions that's been there and done that, and that's been they've created an amazing community there. One thing I love though about groups like that is the network that you gain immediately, right? There's so much value in that. But let's dive into you've partnered on a few deals now. You've raised a lot of money. You've been growing that. Speak to how you started doing that. Let's dive in there a little bit. I know there's lots of listeners who are trying to do the same thing. What were some of the steps that maybe you started taking to be able to raise your money from investors right off the bat, and then let's talk about how that's grown.
Yeah, I was speaking literally with everyone, not only going to a local meetups here in New Jersey. I was going maybe to 2 to 3 per week, but going on Zoom calls, Zoom events, and networking, virtual networking events. I was going to 3, 4 per day. Incredibly active being out there, and social media, even though I hated it before, I didn't know what I needed to do. I mean, when you think of social media, what do you think of? Like pictures of dogs and like food and stuff like that, or where you go on vacation? No, it's a powerful tool that you can use to promote yourself and promote your business. So I started just promoting myself and my brand everywhere. And somebody reached out to me and they said, hey, listen, it looks like you want to get your feet wet. How about being an LP, passive investor in a syndication? And I said, I know this stuff. I really don't want to be an LP. I want to be an operator. Not only I want to learn, but it's like my dream, because I set my goals for that year to be in 200 doors as a GP. I know, huge goals for my very first year. So this person said, and I'll forever be grateful to him. He said, how about you interview with the GP team and see if you guys click, maybe you can raise money. And we spoke and we really clicked. We really liked each other. And I'm like, let me be a co-GP. And at the same time, I'm going to work on investor relations. So I started raising capital. My goal was to raise $500,000. It's 5 or 6 C deal, so I could advertise it everywhere. Oh boy, I was advertising it everywhere. So I thought that, well, how difficult could it be? And I could not raise anything at all, but I stumbled upon somebody who really needed to place their capital in a deal, 1031 exchange. So he placed $1 million into this deal, and I brought him in. So my very first raise, I raised after everything was said and done, 1.4 million. I was blown away, and that really snowballed into more and more and more. So that was my very first deal.
Congratulations! That's incredible that you found that $1 million investor through a 1031 also. But you said you told your goal was 500,000, but you still got to 1.4. You almost hit your goal without the 1031 investor.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. How did you find the 1031 investor?
You know what? I was everywhere, like I said, on all the podcasts. And at the end of the podcast, they call them shameless plugs, or
Right.
I call them self-promotion instead of so I was just, like I said, I was blasting it everywhere. I was so excited. Maybe I was overdoing it. And this guy goes, hey, listen, I need to identify a property here. What do you have? So I said, I have 208 doors and it's in San Antonio. Why don't you go take a look? And just by just luck, I guess, or persistence, whatever you want to call it. But maybe it's fate, and but I'm really glad it happened.
Yeah. So tell me about how you built maybe the confidence, but also the ability for this 1031 investor to have the confidence in you, right? You hadn't done a deal before, syndicated a deal yet. How did that conversation go to where they felt comfortable bringing, $1 million with you and you'd not done a deal yet?
Yeah, I was completely transparent with the team that it was my very first deal, and I'm gonna bother them and leverage them as much as possible. So instead of saying I was speaking like I'm part of the team. So instead of saying, oh, I'm new in multifamily space, for example, I was saying the team was in the space for, let's say, 15 years, and we've done so many deals and so many exits. So I was leveraging the team, and if I had any questions, they were incredibly patient with me and completely understanding. And they listen, everybody's in the same boat. Everybody had to start from zero. So they're like, we did this whole transition. We know exactly what you're going through, and we'll help you with anything that you need help with. I mean, even the simplest things. If you have any questions, let's jump on a Zoom call together and have a small interview, have a webinar. We'll help each other to succeed. And that's exactly how it happens. So leveraging the team is very important in this case, and finding a proper team. I'm very much pro team.
For sure. The syndication business is a team sport, to say the least. And that, yeah, no doubt about it. Leveraging the team, leveraging their experience, their track record, all those things are so helpful. Speak to maybe some next steps after that, how you started to grow that or growing your investor base. What were some of the steps you took to make that happen?
Of course, yeah. So I started everything in Excel. I was putting people in Excel document and was trying to basically just kind of follow the steps, and putting 506C, 506B here, and it's a pain. You need proper systems, you need proper CRM, nurturing software. So I got a website now. Of course, you should have a landing page or website. You should register your business with Google, so you would feel and see and be credible. So because what do people do? They Google you right away. And if you Google me, you're going to see my name, my business hours, where I'm located, everything there. Additionally, you should have proper systems like nurturing software. There's ActiveCampaign. In my case, it's MailerLite. It's a similar type of nurturing software. Right now, I'm working on growing my investor base with YouTube videos. I'm starting that up as well. In addition, working on just networking. That's the big thing. And of course, following up, telling what you do, providing value by going to LinkedIn and Facebook, and not just like posting something silly. Sometimes you can, but ultimately posting something of value that people can gain, and they be like, oh yeah, this guy knows his stuff. So that gives you credibility and trust, and people will come to you and potentially will invest with you.
What CRM are you using?
Right now, I'm using HubSpot.
Okay. Yeah.
HubSpot it took me a while. I was using Monday CRM before, but I outgrown it. I need flexibility, and also I need few people to kind of get on it and make sure that they're looking at the same thing. So we will have this, will be synced across all platforms. So in my case, HubSpot does that for me.
Yeah, we used HubSpot for a number of years. We're using something different now, but that was a good platform for a while, especially to grow into. And so what about, you mentioned following up, and I feel like, following up is key, right? So crucial. Talk through your follow-up process a little bit, or maybe you just met somebody at a conference, or, you all just met online, or what does that look like? So you're nurturing that, that investor along.
Yeah, in many cases, and I'm trying to be better at that, so I'm learning as much as possible. And when you meet somebody at a conference, usually be like, "Oh yeah, let me get your business card." You got the business card, it's in your pocket, and then you forget about it. Maybe you put that person in your CRM or like in your contacts, but do you really call them back? In many cases, you don't, because I didn't. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got 50 cards, but right now I don't even know what they are. Well, I don't know these people." So it's really important, as soon as you get those contacts, follow up and say, "Hey, listen, it was great seeing you." Like in my case, my last conference was best ever conference in Salt Lake City. Met about 60 people, written to all of them, said, "Hey, listen, it's great to see you at best ever. Next time you're in New York, New Jersey area, let's catch up, let's have a coffee or lunch or something like that. Let's talk. If not, no problem at all. Let's jump on a Zoom call, because I know we didn't have enough time to spend at the conference." It was like 800 people. Let's have a 30-minute conversation. Let's see how can we help each other? What are we doing? Not even help. Let's say they're doing something completely opposite. But now you have a connection, right? Like I met two people that just jump on at me right away. One person does hotel to apartment conversions. And if somebody does that, I got a guy I can call immediately. And another one, RV parks. So as soon, and they're like right there, right in my mind, because I had a great conversation. We clicked, we liked the same thing. And now I can make a connection and provide some sort of value for others if they're looking for this type of business.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was at Best Ever as well. I'm surprised we didn't connect.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so many people there, but it's a great event. I've spoken there many times and enjoyed speaking there again this year. And just a great event, like you said. But it's a great place to meet investors, right, and other operators and learn. But you talk about following up, and email, reaching out to all of them. That's time consuming, right? But I do believe that it's so important, to follow up and follow up again. I wanted to hit too, you mentioned starting a YouTube channel. How has that worked for you? And sometimes that can seem pretty overwhelming to a lot of people. It's like, what am I going to talk about? I don't feel like I'm an expert. I experienced all those same thoughts and hear it all the time. How did you get past some of that or learn to do that?
Yeah, in my opinion, there's so many interviews and podcasts and YouTube, and everybody's trying to be an expert. I'm just trying to be entertaining and unique. Where if I'm looking for something, I'm kind of trying to do something the same thing. Like there's a bunch of attorneys in the SEC, and if you're a newbie investor and you don't know what they're talking about, you might be like, "That's too confusing. It's too complicated." I like to break everything down and make it super easy so anybody can understand. Because all these terminology and lingo and jargon and everything, it can be overwhelming, especially in the beginning. It's like the good expression is drinking from like a fire hose, because all that information is just coming at you. So I'm just trying to make it easy and simple so anybody can understand. And at the same time, if they have any questions, they can reach out to me and I can help them with numbers or just, how to get in it and how to start. Because a lot of people, that's the biggest difficulty. So that's going to be the goal of my channel. Just really easy, simple, no complicated, and of course having fun, because that's what it's all about, right?
Vlad, what's your best source for meeting new investors right now?
Yeah, right now, I did some, of course, podcasts, and a lot of them reach out to me this way. Additionally, like I said, I'm all over social media, and I get that. And now we're doing a lot of webinars and presentations, and at the same time, I've been invited for some speaking engagements here in the Hilton Hotel in New York, New Jersey area. So I'll be speaking on multifamily also in front of 200 people. So that's going to be something that's going to be pretty exciting. So I'm really trying to be out there and basically scream from the rooftops. People, open your eyes. Real estate is really amazing. Just to give you some numbers, right? Just like Dow Jones dropped this year return was minus 4%, S&P negative 10, NASDAQ minus 15, Vanguard index minus 7. I mean, if you compare to what real estate provides, like for example, we targeting the returns of over 16%, right? 7% cash on cash. With these negative returns that, and we see what's happening in the banking industry, and I'm not gonna start with that because that's up to, all the professionals and gurus that trying to predict stuff. I don't do that. That's not my style. But just to give you an example of how much money you potentially losing by putting it, let's say, in savings or keeping it in savings, and we see what's happening in the banking industry right now. So if you invest in something real, like if you invest in an apartment complex, it's there. You can go and you can touch it. Fly to Dallas. You can touch it and be like, you can say, it's mine. I own a part of this, instead of just a bunch of numbers on a piece of paper or on a computer screen. So that's what I'm trying to get to people. It opened my eyes. I'm trying to help others as well.
What are some of the most important metrics that you track? It could be personally or professionally.
One of the biggest, I'm trying to work on my goals now. So I'm speaking with Dr. Hardy. He written a few books like the Who Not How, then 10x is easier than 2x. And I'm trying to 10x my business. So what I'm tracking now is I have to get rid of things that make me just busy for the sake of being busy and target and concentrate on 20% that really produce results. So right now, for me, what's producing results is my real estate career here in New Jersey. Not only I'm trying to sell and buy luxury houses, at the same time, I'm going direct to seller when it comes to multifamily, because that produces the results that I'm looking for, where I'm trying to acquire properties. You can speak with brokers, which is awesome, and we're doing that as well. But I'm just going direct to seller and trying to be like, hey, listen, if you're looking to sell, think, I can buy it from you right now. Look at the economy, look what you're going through, let's make a deal. So that's the things that I'm tracking on now, where I'm working on literally like right now, eliminating 80% of stuff that just keeps me busy for the sake of being busy, and concentrating on 20% that gets me to the next level.
Yeah, I've not looked up Benjamin Hardy. I've got his book here, Who Not How. He and Dan Sullivan, highly recommend that book for sure. I think a lot of, or Dan Sullivan and some of his stuff. But so you're working with Benjamin Hardy personally, or he's a coach, is that right?
Yeah, I'm taking a 6 weeks coaching class with him. And hold on, I'll show you. You're going to be the first one to see this. Let me focus.
Put it in front of you.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. 10x
is easier than 2x.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's his brand.
I've not even heard of that book. Wow.
Yep, because it's brand new and he signed it for me. So this book is awesome, and his new class, or I would say mastermind right now for 6 weeks, is telling you and teaching you how to eliminate things that basically, not producing results, and concentrate on 10xing your business. So that's my primary goal right now.
Love that name.
It is definitely very catchy.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I'm gonna look that up. I love thinking that way and being pushed in those ways myself. And so, how do you like to give back, Vlad?
Well, like I said, my biggest thing is I'm speaking with everyone, going, hey, listen, there's other investment opportunities out there. Instead of going like the normal standard route that everybody's heard of, like 401ks, maybe self-directed IRAs. Of course, they put into stock market or something like that, and savings account, don't get me started on that, because what is it producing, 2%? And what's the inflation these days? 10? I think it's 10. It depends who you speak with, but basically you're at -8 if you think about it, right? So if you invest in real estate, in my case, it's multifamily, because basic human need, right? Food, clothing, apartments. If you cannot buy a house, what do? You're not going to be homeless, you're going to rent. So multifamily, in my opinion, is the safest, especially in the markets where you see a lot of growth, like Texas, for example. That's where I am. I mean, it's everywhere. You can name any market, but I invest primarily in the Sun Belt states, which are southern states, the Carolinas, Texas, Kansas City. I did a deal in Florida as well, in Sarasota. Those are my markets, and the way I give back is I try to give somebody an alternate investment opportunity, where you're a busy person, you're an attorney, you're a doctor, IT, engineer, anything. You don't have time to get into this, which is perfectly okay. But if you have capital to invest and want to have real returns and distributions, in many cases monthly distributions, with tax savings that real estate provides, give it a try. All you got to do is give it a try, because it's going to really open your eyes.
I'm sold. Where do I sign? No, I'm just kidding.
Go to my website, zonticventures.com. Yeah.
That's good. Vlad, a pleasure to meet you and have you on the show. Honored to just walk through your progression, right, to getting to the first capital raise and how you did that and successfully, but then growing to numerous projects now, even, to your CRM, to the follow-up process, to your YouTube channel, the things you're doing, in coaching, right? Having a mentor program and network, but then also, how you're even seeking other mentors, coaches, like Dr. Benjamin Hardy. I just think it's something that I think we can never stop doing, right? I'm always looking for that next level group, or mentor or mastermind that's, ahead of where I'm at now, right? And so I love that you're striving to be a part of those types of things and learning and growing, it's going to help you to 10X for sure. How can the listeners get in touch with you and learn more about you?
Of course, I'm all over social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I started TikToking, putting short videos. Sometimes they're pretty fun. I'm keeping it light on TikTok, but a lot of educational stuff, of course, when it comes to LinkedIn and Facebook. Like I said, I'm starting a YouTube channel. And of course, reach out to me. I'm on zonticventures.com, and DM me, PM me, text me. I'm everywhere. So
thank you for being with us again today. I hope that you have learned a lot from the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you're telling your friends about the Real Estate Syndication Show and how they can also build wealth in real estate. You can also go to lifebridgecapital.com and start investing today.